Hello and welcome to Housing Development, where we dive into the opportunities, challenges and innovations shaping the housing sector. Today, I have a highly insightful program lined up as we explore the Nigerian housing sector outlook for 2025. The housing sector is a critical pillar of our economy, and with 2025 upon us, there is no better time to analyze the trends, policies and strategies that will define its trajectory. Housing is a cornerstone of development, and as we navigate the new year, the challenges of affordability, urbanization and sustainable housing solutions remain at the forefront. How prepared is Nigeria to meet these challenges? What opportunities lie ahead? Before we begin, as usual, let's see the news that are trending in the housing sector. As always, I am Flora Ani, your housing diva.
In a bid to solve the country's housing deficit, the federal government has revealed a plan to allocate 32 billion naira for special housing interventions in the 2025 budget. Over 15 billion naira has been earmarked to develop affordable student housing across the country. The Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program will receive 90 million naira to continue providing affordable housing for federal workers. Additionally, 11.5 billion naira has been set aside for the construction of 20,000 homes under the Renewed Hope agenda to address housing needs for low and middle income Nigerians, while 5.34 billion naira will support the ongoing national housing program. This intervention is critical considering the ongoing housing deficit, which exceeds 17 million units. The government initiative aims to bridge the housing gap by providing affordable and safe housing options for Nigerians, particularly students and civil servants, while ensuring the long-term sustainability of housing solutions across the nation. The Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN, has applauded the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for dismissing 27 corrupt officers from its workforce, describing it as a significant milestone in the fight against graft. In a statement released in Abuja on Thursday, the Executive Director of HDAN, Festus Adebayo, applauded Olanipekun Olukoyede for cleansing the agency of criminal officers who have been enmeshed in corrupt practices and other vices, describing the development as a milestone in the fight against corruption. Adebayo stressed the need to address corruption in Nigeria, especially in the real estate sector and every other facet of our national life, emphasizing that no corrupt society ever achieves its potential.
To read the full details of the news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. We have a very special guest with us today, architect Moses Sade, the former Minister of Mines and Steel, who will share his insight on the future of housing in Nigeria. But before we dive into our discussions, let's hear what Nigerians have to say about the housing situation. We ask people across the country to share their thoughts on housing affordability, access, and expectations for 2025. Let's take a look at voices on the streets.
If government can build house, but every year they will budget money and say they are building house, you cannot see the houses, you cannot see money, you cannot see even the people. So if government can help us build houses, give to, especially to civil servants, because they are the most affected people in this housing deficit.
I think government needs to really make this housing issue quite available, not just to civil servants alone, but I guess to whoever comes into Abuja. There should be a housing policy whereby it will help resolve some of these problems. The Ministry of Works and Housing needs to do a whole lot. You know, that particular ministry has been saddled with the responsibility of at least some of these things.
During the Shagari era, during the 1970s and the rest, there were housing scheme which we knew about, that he built a lot of housing quarters for civil servants, I know. But it's unfortunate that even if many things are going to come up, people who are not civil servants may not actually get the best. In fact, I saw some kind of giveaway, should I call it a form of palliative, in form of rice in bags for civil servants, which did not extend to people who are not civil servants. So even if that should even happen now, I don't think government, for now, with what I'm seeing, there's not been a holistic inclusion of every part and parcel of the citizenry, seriously. So my own advice or my own suggestion is that the government should be an all-inclusive government whereby everybody will benefit. More housing units should be created by the current administration. Though I've been seeing some strides.
It's not 2024 alone. These things start from the crash. That Shagari, during Shagari, how much they sell one bedroom in federal housing unit? How much they sell it? Maybe it's not up to 4,000 something. The way they deduct the money inside those people work in the office is small money. After that one, see how they increase the housing unit. Although we understand that everything come up in the market. Both cement, all the items they use to build the house. But the government need to do more work on it.
Voices on the street there. It's evident from these voices that housing is a major concern for Nigerians and is a topic that touches us all. This perspective will set the stage for our discussion with our guests.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. Housing is a right and not a privilege. And as we navigate the new year, the challenges of affordability, urbanization, and sustainable housing solutions remain at the forefront. How prepared is Nigeria to meet these challenges? What opportunities lie ahead? The housing sector is a critical pillar of our economy. And with 2025 upon us, there is no better time to analyze the trends, policies, and strategies that will define its trajectory. To help us unpack these issues, we're honored to have with us architect Musa Sada, a former Minister of Mines and Steel, a visionary leader, and advocate for development. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, so looking at 2025,
Yes.
how would you assess the state of the Nigerian housing sector? Are we on track to meet our housing needs?
I would say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that a lot of policies and efforts are being put in place in 2023, 2024 to deliver more houses. No, in the sense that there is yet to be an articulation as to the delivery of the houses themselves. It is one thing to build houses, and it is another to get it to the people that really need those houses. Yeah. So the housing delivery system needs to be looked at very closely in the year 2025. You will hear a lot of news about number of houses built by this government or that government. But what is most important is, do those houses get to the people that actually need the houses? That is the actual problem-solving situation that we need to address in the coming year. Yes, I agree. A lot of efforts by this government and the Honorable Minister of Housing now is doing quite a lot in just as expectedly, because he is an insider as far as housing delivery is concerned, from the background that he had in his profession, in his previous offices. He understands what needs to be done. But I would wish in 2025 a lot more attention is paid to the delivery system, and not just for how this is built by government, even the private sector. Delivery system is very important. Yes, we know what the objective of the private sector is. We know what the objective of government is. But if we have to holistically address the issue of housing problems, the delivery system must have to be paid attention to.
Okay, now talking about the delivery system, you know urbanization is rapidly increasing in Nigeria. Yes. What measures can the government take to ensure urban housing remains accessible and affordable?
Yes, I think here I will surprise you to say that we also pay attention to rural housing. Because what are the causes of the explosion in the urban population and the need for housing in this thing is because of the push and pull of the two situations. People get excited about urban centers, the glitter and the rest of it, and then people want to run away from the gloom and gloom of the rural setting. So if what they are running to the urban centers for is paid attention to in the rural areas, then a lot more people will prefer to stay at home than this. And of course, there are other social amenities that also make them, health facilities, education, and the rest of it. So if you want to address the issue of urban housing, you have to as well address the issue of rural housing and rural economy, because people come into urban areas to find a living. And if there are chances for them in the urban areas, quite a number of them would remain there, and then the pressure on the urban centers would have been less.
Yeah, definitely. So let's look at the Nigerian housing deficit. Yes. It's estimated to be over 20 million units. Yes. So what strategies can effectively address this gap in the short term and also the long term this year, 2025?
Yes, I think in the short term, what is happening now, let's try as much as possible to build as many houses as we can. What governments are doing is right. What the private sector is doing is right. But then there must have to be some kind of dialogue between government and the private sector. Don't forget that for quite some time, government has been slowly withdrawing from housing delivery, moving into the regulatory aspect of it. Then they have an objective of social services and so on, while the private sector person wants return on his investment. There must be a dialogue between these two. There must be a time when government and the developers, the private developers, will have to sit down and find a common ground whereby the objective of the private entrepreneur and the objective of government is addressed. The only way you can get this done is through policy, which means a lot more attention needs to be paid to the policy aspects of it. No matter how many houses you build with the current speed, you talk of 20 million. So if you talk of 20 million, assume with all the efforts that the government can put, might not be able to build more than 100,000 in a year. So look at 20 million, look at 100,000. Where does it stop? So what government needs to do is to put on two caps.
Okay.
The first cap is, yes, encourage the availability of more houses. Yes, government can participate and build houses. But like I said, when they participate and build houses, they must have to address the delivery system. Here I want to tell you why I'm so concerned about the delivery system. Some of the projects, some of the programs of housing delivery in some government, both federal and state, sometimes just end up creating more landlords. Because government will build, a state government will build 500 houses. These 500 houses will be distributed. Maybe at the initial distribution stage, it was fairly done and the rest of it. But some of the people, some of the conditionalities of this, and there is no way anybody working in government can be able to satisfy it. So what do? They go ahead, acquire the allocation and the rest of, and they end up selling it. And when they sell it, it goes back to those people who will now come and rent it back to them again. So this is a policy aspect that must have to be addressed. So in policy, you must look at house. In larger parts of the world, you hardly find what is happening in Nigeria. You take quantum amount of money and pay for a house and take it like a simple commodity. Very few countries operate in this. Yes, they do, maybe in the very upper echelon of the economy where very rich people can be able to do this. But the intermediate and the low level economic earners is something that is next to impossible. So there must be a policy that will make you own a home without necessarily having to put, just like you're buying something off the shop.
Yeah.
It has to be something that you can commodify. I can own a house as up to a certain percentage of it, maybe 20% of the house, and maybe over the next so many years, I can increase the percentage of ownership. At any time I want to get out, I have that percentage of ownership as a commodity that I can sell to do something else. So the policy must make provision for those platforms that you can be able to do this. So this is why I believe the right thing to do in 2025 for the government as the regulator is to look at the policies and see that, look, how do we deliver the... Because if you continue to build houses, and these houses are ending up in the hands of people that already own houses, that 20 million deficit will continue to exist. You will not be able to cut down on it. But if you have a policy that, people will have various level of percentages of ownerships and so, and they know at any point in time, if they want out, they can get out, because there is a system whereby there are people going in for this house and people coming out of this house. That's commodification of the housing system, and it should be very strong part of the policy. This is the system that built the world famous American mortgage system of Freddie Mac and the Fannie Mae. It is through this sort of system, so much so that it stabilizes, whereby you can go into housing ownership in a very convenient manner. And that aspect of affordability must have to be addressed in the policy.
All right, so thank you so very much, sir, for your time on the program and for all your insights. We do appreciate you, and we hope to see you soon again on this program.
Thank you very much.
Let's go. Let's go.
Huh? What is it again?
Oga, and they drive this car, my mind no dey. My landlord is on my neck.
Your landlord again? I thought I have told you this before. Get a mortgage, register with NHF scheme, and get a home up front. What is so difficult about this?
Oga, I will do just that. See, I will shame that my landlord. Mortgage.
At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home.
As it's Wednesday, it's time for our Women Crush Wednesday segment, where we celebrate women making impactful contributions in the housing and development sector. Today, we shine the spotlight on an Amazon. She's been at the forefront of affordable housing initiatives, spearheading projects that have provided homes for low-income families across the country. Her innovative approach to sustainable housing has inspired many in the industry. Let's unveil our Woman Crush today.
Our Woman Crush this Wednesday is Mrs. Uzo Oshogwe, currently the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Transcorp Hilton Hotel PLC. Prior to her current role, she was the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Afriland Properties PLC for many years. Mrs. Uzo Oshogwe is a seasoned and skilled professional, an administrator with over 30 years of experience in her career. Uzo holds a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry from Ambrose Ali University, Edo State, a Master of Science in Information Systems Design from the University of Westminster, London, and a professional certificate in real estate management from Harvard Business School. She also holds an advanced management program certification from Lagos Business School and IESE, Barcelona. She recently completed the Chief Executive Program at the Lagos Business School. She is a RICS accredited civil and commercial mediator, a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants, and a fellow of the Institute of Credit Administrators. Additionally, Uzo is a member of the Institute of Directors. Her career progression has seen her distinguish herself in international organizations such as Ford Motor Company, United Kingdom, J. Sainsbury plc, United Kingdom, Accenture, United Kingdom, and UBA plc, before joining UBA Properties Limited, which evolved to become Afriland Properties plc. Under the stewardship of Uzo Oshogwe, Afriland Properties has made significant progress, delivering real estate projects that have become landmarks in the country. Combining creativity, resilience, enterprise, and an innate knowledge of the real estate business, she has masterfully led Afriland Properties plc to attain industry excellence, establishing its position as one of the most reputable real estate companies in Africa. Under her leadership, Afriland Properties plc was declared one of the best places to work in Nigeria. She is a strong advocate of gender inclusion in the workplace and has monitored many young women to take ownership of their careers. As an outstanding achiever, Uzo has received numerous awards in Nigeria and beyond for her contributions to the growth of real estate across Africa and the prosperity of humanity. All of these amazing qualities make Mrs. Uzo Oshogwe our Woman Crush Wednesday.
Thank you, Uzoamaka Oshogwe, for your dedication to transforming life through housing. You're truly a trailblazer, and we celebrate you today. One event that will create a landmark history this year, 2025, is the Africa International Housing Show. The Africa International Housing Show 2025 is Africa's largest and most influential housing and construction event, bringing together industry leaders, policymakers, innovators, and investors from across the continent and beyond. Scheduled for this year's July, this event serves as a platform for driving policy reforms, fostering business partnership, and showcasing innovative solutions to Africa's housing challenges. AIHS 2025 offers unmatched opportunities, including product exhibitions, engaging conferences, and strategic networking with decision makers from over 20 countries. Participants can gain insight from renowned speakers, explore emerging trends, and build partnerships that drives business growth. The event also features prestigious awards celebrating innovation and excellence in the housing and construction sectors. By including AIHS 2025 in your company's budget this year, you position your brand for greater visibility, open doors to new markets, and align with key stakeholders shaping Africa's housing future. The show provides a direct return on investment through exposure, business leads, and opportunities for collaboration with past participants, securing significant deals and partnerships. AIHS 2025 is more than an event. It's a movement reshaping the future of housing and urban development across Africa. We invite your company to be part of this transformative platform, making a strategic impact while contributing to sustainable solutions for Africa's housing challenges.
I think it's a fantastic initiative, and if you just look out in the audience right now, you have the who's who of the marketplace. You've got managing directors of banks and mortgage companies and developers. So I'm looking forward to having some detailed conversations with our existing partners, meeting a whole bunch of new people.
I think what makes this type of venue important is it gives all of the stakeholders a chance to come together and figure out ways to solve the affordable housing needs of people.
An excellent way of bringing thought leaders, investors, institutions that can help to address the problem holistically. You know, I think it's a very excellent initiative.
This is where I'll be wrapping up the curtains today. To all my viewers, thank you for joining me today. The Nigerian housing sector is a story still being written, and we all have a role to play in shaping it for the better. Don't forget to follow me for more updates and conversation on housing development. Until next time, stay engaged and stay informed. I remain your housing diva, Flora Annie. Bye for now.